What's up, everybody? We're gonna drop the oil on Stumpy here. Gonna give him a new Wix filter, some Rizoline oil additive, the T4 1540, what I've been running, always had good luck. So anyway, gonna get on here and see what we can do. So there we go. All right, so the drain plug is a 7/8. I did already crack it loose. Here's after a little bit of driving here, starting to get a little oil pan seepage. That's not the end of the world, but anyway, go ahead and get this dropped, and then we're gonna get that filter down, see what that filter looks like. I just changed oil in this right before, literally like 2 days before we took it up to that car show, so it should be extremely clean, which it is. But my biggest thing is I want to pull that filter. I'm gonna cut it apart. I want to see what it looks like. Oh gosh. Of course, it never fails. The minute I do this, the wind picks up. Hasn't been any wind all morning. But the minute I decide to drain this, nothing but. Of course, this is typical Ford engineering for all you F-150 guys. Why not put an why not put the oil drain right exactly where the axle falls? So while you enjoy that oil draining, I'm gonna grab some brake cleaner real quick to spray that off. All right, everybody, I'm back. Yeah, it looks like it drained pretty good. Like I said, oil looks super clean, as it should. You know, there's not many miles on this oil change. Probably 50 to 100. Oh, I don't know, maybe 100, 125. I doubt there's even 125, but yeah, brake clean feels good when it sprays back in your face. Tell you that much. A little hose in. Get the drain plug, a little spray down here, and we'll let that drain out pretty good. I don't get too crazy and wait for every last speck of oil to get out of there. Cripes, you sit here for 2 days if that was the case, but you know. But yeah, I've been running, let me get over here a little bit better. I've been running Rotella T4, the Rizoline zinc additive, and it's a flat tappet cam in here, so gotta have that zinc, which the T4 has zinc, everybody says, but can't hurt to put a little bit more. And then I do run a little Lucas oil stabilizer in there as well. Had a lot of recommendations from the old boys in the area that said, hey, you know, you might want to, as long as that thing's been sitting, etc., you might want to go ahead and just add some of that Lucas oil stabilizer. It'll help the top end stay lubricated a little bit better too. It'll stick up in there a little bit longer. Maybe help if I had a sticky lifter with that tick. So do I think it's helped? Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it's quieted down that lifter for sure. You know, I mean, but then again, also I've been running it since we got the truck running. So you know, it's one of those things. I mean, has it really helped? I don't know for sure. I can't guarantee it, but in my very unprofessional knowledge, I mean, I think it's helped. So I guess when it comes to stuff like this, that's all that really matters, I suppose, too, is if you think it works for your application, why, go ahead and do it. You know, the way I see it is it can't really hurt. You know, so all right, let's get this oil pan drain plug snugged up. Remember, you don't want to go too crazy on those. You run risk of stripping them out. Hit her a little brake clean. Wipe down. As you can see, there's years, 58 years worth of crud on this. So that's cool. But we got that. Next, this is always a pain in the butt, is going to be this oil filter. You don't get a lot of room to work. And you gotta squeeze the shit out of this. There we go. That should come up pretty easy. Probably because it was just installed. Anyway. So I should punch it. Should have learned my lesson the very first time I did this. Should just punch a hole in the filter to drain it out. But after I drain the engine oil first, it shouldn't make too big of a mess. Shouldn't, I say. Of course, you know, it'll make a little bit of a mess. I'll tell you what though, that oil filter feels really heavy, really saturated. So that could be interesting. I had a few people comment about the drivetrain in this truck, saying that's cool Ford. Don't see too many F100 four-wheel drives, let alone one with, you know, where somebody actually knows kind of the truck's whole life story. And the front end on this is a Dana 44. It's a closed knuckle. If you can see over here, I don't know if the camera can see, but it's a closed knuckle system, and it's not the same as what they used on the F250s. It is different. They did use a closed knuckle on the F250s, but they use an 8-lug hub, whereas this truck has a 5-lug hub. It was my understanding it was to keep that in the half-ton classification. It does have an MP435 4-speed transmission, a Dana 24 transfer case that is divorced. It's a Ford, so normal. And then it has a Dana 60.2, which is a locking Dana 60. And again, 5-lug hubs. 354 gear ratio from the factory. I have pulled the covers off of both of these axles. When I did fluids first time. I did just fluids the first time and got that old sludge out and put fresh fluid in them. And then I drove it around a little bit, let them get warm, and then I went in and I pulled the covers. I ordered lube locker gaskets, so you don't have to use a gasket material. I've had good luck. They don't leak. Cool thing about both these axles is they actually have drain plugs right on the bottom, so easy to drain them. Then go ahead and put your lube locker gasket back on and put your cover back on and follow the specs of you know, locking them back in. But something I just noticed, everybody, and this is something that a lot of those quick lube oil change places they miss, and the gasket stuck up there off the oil filter. So you gotta pay a lot of attention if that happens. And if you don't get that off and you double gasket your oil filter, well, you run a real big risk of blowing that out right away. So since this oil filter since this oil filter is a vertical one, what I do is I'll show you here, is I'll go ahead and I'll fill it up. Since it's going vertically up on the engine, I'm gonna go ahead and just fill it up with oil right away. That way you don't get, of course I'm gonna try to make a huge mess here. That way you don't get, well, I guess, I mean, everybody calls it a dry, completely dry start. At least there's, you know, some oil gonna start pumping right away. So I don't know, doesn't make a big difference, I'm not sure, but am I gonna make a huge mess doing this? Absolutely. Especially on the driveway that doesn't have too many stains yet, but it has plenty because this old truck, which is fine, not a big deal. Nice part about doing it this way is you get a bunch of oil all over the filter, and it makes it super slippery to try to reinstall. So that said, we'll get back over here, and I'm gonna go ahead. And this is a Wix 51515. This is not the R series, which when I Googled that, that's the racing version. I don't think this is a race truck, although a few times I have driven it like it's a race truck, and I probably shouldn't have. But, you know, hey, the old truck's meant to be driven, and I'm gonna drive it. So let's get this filter on here, get it wiped off. I'm actually gonna spray, give it a quick little, what Derek Barry calls it, a little. All right, so that's on there. You want to snug that up, and then give it about three quarters of a turn past that. Once I get all the oil off of that filter, then I can go ahead and give her a snuggin'. Which I think I got it all. Looks pretty clean down there. So reach through here, and that's pretty good. So I got my drain plug back in. I got the oil filter on. I've got the areas here where oil had spilled. Got those sprayed down so I won't get as much oil drips and stuff on there. So my next step is gonna be spray my hand down, because that feels really good. I'm just gonna double dry that off and give this oil filter one last. There we go. That's plenty right there. One last little turn. All right. So go ahead and get this mounted over here. And I can get this. There we go. The oil fill right there. So easy peasy. Pull that out of the way. Pop that up. And got my oil over here. Right here, Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizer. This stuff's thick, really thick. What I do is I actually I put it out in the sun for a little while. I let it go ahead and warm up, and that way it pours a little bit easier. But I use about half a quart per oil change, so pour some of that in, and as that's gonna, see how thick that is? Okay, now I got the zinc additive. I'm gonna go ahead and pour some of that in. on top of the stabilizer. And kind of do a little bit of a blend here. I'm going to get that. See how thick that is. Takes a little while to drain down, but not too long. Yeah, just about to that half a quart. And then the rest I'll top off with some of that T4. And we should be in pretty good shape. Set that down. Put the rest of this zinc additive in here. Whoop. Ba-bam. All right. That in there. Now, I'm going to give that a minute or so here to settle in. And step up here on the bumper. That way I can dump this all over the place and spill it, you know, because not professional. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, awesome. Thank you, wind. Yeah, get on that header too. That way it really smokes for a little while. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour, this is 4 quarts. I'm going to pour pretty much a majority of this in there. And I've got the truck backed up into my driveway. My driveway's got a little bit of a slope, so I actually checked it. I got a spot marked on my driveway, and I set the dang it, I set a level on my rocker covers, and it's pretty level. So what I do is I put a majority of this in with that half quart and that zinc additive, and then I check the oil level, and see you've got about a quart left. So here in a minute I'll put a little bit more in so I can dump it down on that header, you know, because why not? A little smoke show never hurt anybody. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's leave me about half quart left. More of that. Put the lid back on. And that's also a breather too, so kind of a cool concept how that works, or how that is. But let's go ahead and give that a little, a little hosing. Be fine. As long as my plug stuff doesn't get saturated. It looks like that burned off already, so for the most part those headers are probably nice and toasty, so those will be real steamy. All right, well, that about concludes the oil change. Got my nice clean rag here, and so let's go ahead and pull the dipstick. See what it looks like. Yep, looks like a dipstick. And put that back in there. Run her down. Yeah, looks pretty good. Of course, it's still running down, but I know how much I put in there. It says it takes about 6 quarts. And there's about 5.5 right now, so I'm gonna fire this up quick. That's pretty quiet now. Nice and quiet, smooth. So I'll let this run for a minute and let that oil stabilizer and the zinc additive, let it all, hang out. But it's a little over 150 degrees, but oil pressure up there closer to 45, idling about 600. So got the idle set at, I think after we reset the timing and set the idle, I'm carved about 600, 650, but seems to be pretty happy there once it warms up. And yeah, so hey, I'll probably end the video here shortly, and then I'll cut in when I get the oil filter cut open, hopefully today if I get time, and see if there's any material in it. And hopefully there's no material in that, and we can just send Stumpy on his merry old way, because I mean, he seems to be pretty happy. Don't really seem to be smoking. Looks good. Sounds great. So hey guys, we'll see you shortly after I get that oil filter cut open, and we'll see where we're at. So see you soon. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I wanted to show you the oil, had it in the light. It doesn't look metallic-y to me. I mean, that's for sure. I think that's sediment that was already in there, but oil looked really clean. Somebody chewed my ass for using a frame filter. It's what I grabbed at the store, but I guess, I don't know, maybe I learned a lesson to just use the wicks and go that route. But thought I had it drained out. Not really, because I want to cut it open. I want to see if there's anything in it. Looks like I got a little bit more draining left to do. That is, you sit here and turn it and the baffles kind of move. You can hear it still gurgling. I don't know. I mean, everybody says these frames are junk and they don't have as much filtration power. I don't know. I've used them before. I've never had an issue, but I don't tend to keep a vehicle for a long time typically. So we're gonna get the phone on there and gonna use this Hobart welding mask that has grind mode on it, actually, so it will not so it won't darken if it sees sparks. So gloves on, mask on, death wheel, no guard. Well, that's why they call it a death wheel. Because look at that, just chewed the shit out of that blade. Well guys, I think we better not use the death wheel. And I think I'll just go grab Sawzall. Because I just made a hell of a mess of some oil. Maybe I can, oh, there we go. Relieve a little bit of that pressure. What do you know about pressure? Relieve a little bit of that pressure in there. Set that back up. And I think what I'm going to do, all right, just realized that I didn't get footage of me with the Sawzall cutting a filter open. Cool. Had to go to the Diablo blade, 9-inch. I mean, I guess that's 9 inches. And we sawed it open. It's what you get. Ring in there, that, and insert. It's a baffle down at the bottom. I already dumped that out. But I mean, I went through this. This looks great. I don't see any signs of metal shavings, no material in here. Looks fantastic, what it should look like. Don't chew my ass for using a Fram. I won't do it again, I promise. But anyway, it's great news. This filter looks fantastic, nice and clean like it should. So, to follow up, drain the oil, check the filter. Oil looked clean, filter clean, did its job. Got fresh oil in there, fresh plugs, wires. We had cylinder 5 spark plug wire fail. We had that cotter pin fail on the rocker arm, or on the shaft. So I replaced that. Got the new push rod, except that one's slightly bent. On. Stumpy's up to temp. Been driving him around a little bit, not smoking. Keeping oil pressure. Temperature's great. So as for now, Stumpy's back. This is great. This was not hard. You just got to be willing to, take some stuff apart and, do the work. So owning a truck that's 58 years old, it's just part of the game. Can't be afraid of it. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Old timers, in the car business, they have so much knowledge on this kind of stuff. I've reached out to a few of them who are mechanics for, gosh, they've been mechanics for 40, 50 years, and they worked on this stuff. So truck's 58 years old. It's not going to be perfect. It's not always going to run the best. There's always going to be something, but hey, for now, Stumpy's back, and that's exciting. So we're going to get some more footage. If you guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. The more steam we can get going on this channel, the better Stumpy can get. If we don't have to do major motor work to him now, I think the next plan is it's going to get a disc brake upgrade from a gentleman up in Wisconsin. He has a whole kit that goes onto this Dana 44 closed knuckle axle, and we're going to do a power booster as well. So I'm not 100% sure when, but I'd like to have that done this year. But we'll see how finances go and see how time constraints go. That's a bigger project for something like this for me, but I think we can do it. Hey, anyway, thanks for joining in on this episode, and stay tuned for more content. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe, and share it with friends. Let me know in the comments how you like my videos, things that I could do better. A little new to this, so it is appreciated. Anybody who is subscribing and tuning in. See you later.